So I got this question from our buddy Kyle, who says he receives absolutely no gratification. There's no sense of gratification associated with sex anymore, as if there ever was, beyond the physical release associated with orgasm. And I do this because most of our orgasms are not full. They're more of a simple ejaculation that feels sort of good as it's on its way out, as opposed to a full body experience with another individual. But anyway, the point here is that psychologically, energetically, it's not gratifying at all. It's almost like jerking off with someone else's body, he says. What's up with this? How do I go about enjoying sex? I mean, it seems as if it should be something that's that there's a lot of emotion and pleasure, joy in experiencing this activity with another human being. Where am I messing up? It got me thinking today. Actually, it's funny. I've been thinking about this for the past couple of weeks. Experience with my wife the other day, about a week ago. We were having sex, and we finished, and both at the same time, right afterwards, we said thank you to each other. Now, we've never discussed this. We've never philosophized. We've never considered it. But at that moment, when we both looked at each other and we both said thank you, at the same time, we smiled and said thank you. I realized we've been doing this for like our entire relationship. We've been dating since we were 14 years old. And I don't know where we began doing this, but at the end of sex, we would say thank you. Recently, I've been listening again to The Power of Myth by Joseph Campbell, and he talks about when primal man, our ancestors, before civilization as we know it, would kill an animal and eat it. We would offer up gratitude and thanks for the meat that animal provided by giving itself up for our continuing our own lives, for not only our pleasure in the eating of the animal, but also in keeping us alive and supporting us in our activities. It's nourishment that comes from this piece of meat that gives us the energy to go about our lives. And we then create with the respect. We do it out of this desire to honor the animal, our activities. This is back when things were sacred, right? When every act, everything that we did had an air of magic, mystery, and sacredness to it. And then we got to a situation where meat came easy. And even the agrarian cultures, there was this idea of prayer, praise for the earth for providing the plants that we ate. We no longer do that to any great degree. And even if we do pray, I've got some friends who are Christian and they do this before every meal. They're praying to a higher power. They're praying to some form of external reality, an external God out there somewhere, thanking it for the meat or the grains or the vegetation that they're eating, with little regard to the actual meat, the animal that it came from, the earth that provided it, somewhere out there. We're totally detached from engaging in the raising and the killing of the animal or the farming of the fruits that we would eat. We're so detached in such a way that we just stuff our bodies with this thing, right? We chew on the meat. In the same way that this lack of gratitude for the animal that gave its life for us is being present, is the same way that sex has become just a beating of the meat as opposed to eating of the meat. It's now this individual is not so much an individual, not so much a thou, but an it. And it's a body, it looks nice. Boy, I'd like to put my dick in it. And you fuck, you ejaculate, and then it's like, oh, well, that's done. I think it's the sense of gratitude that, of course, I put myself out there to be criticized, but also perhaps offer some ideas. The sense of gratitude that I experience with my wife when we have sex, and we've been having sex for 20 years, right? Yeah, we just turned 34. 20 years. It's that sense of gratitude that keeps it gratifying. Do you see? Gratitude and gratification are synonymous. In the same way that most people who overeat are never fulfilled because there's no sense of gratitude associated with the meat that we eat. I think if we begin cultivating a sense of gratitude for even the small things in our life, obviously there's the eating of the food that sustains us, and there's the having of sex that sustains the race of human beings. But even for the small things like breathing, seeing, hearing, smelling, that will be much more gratified in the expression of these things, in the partaking of these things. I think there's a comedian, I can't remember his name, but he talks about how we live in the best time where everything's fucking awesome, he says, but nobody's happy. And it's not because things aren't fucking awesome, or that they could be better, or they're looking somewhere else, that they need to be looking somewhere else, right? Because with you in the sex situation, you're probably like, well, fuck this bitch. I gotta find one that's going to gratify my needs. Gratify this deep desire, this longing for gratification, for feeling embodied, for pleasure, deep spiritual pleasure. You're gonna keep looking, and you're just gonna keep fucking all these women and never really get that gratification because you're never extending gratitude towards the individual that you're partaking in the act with. If you want gratification in your life, you've got to extend gratitude. If you want gratification in your sex, look at the woman. I'm not saying that you need to love her for the rest of your life, but look her in her eyes and extend a sense of gratitude for offering a piece of herself to you. Because that's really what it is. In the same way that the animal offers up its body, the woman is offering up her body to you. You might not respect her, but that's a choice. She may not be behaving in a respectable way and you just want to fuck her because she's hot. But if you want to have any sense of gratification in your life, do it for yourself and say thank you after having sex with her body.